Who are you? Not what you do, not what you did for 30 years, not whose husband or father you are, but who are you? If you're over 50 and going through any major transition, you've probably stared in the mirror and realised you're not sure anymore. Here's what I've learned. It's the question that terrifies most men over 50. I know, because I've been there. I've stood in that mirror, stripped of all the labels who used to define me, wondering who the hell I was underneath it all. But here's the twist. It's also the question that can set you free. Because maybe, just maybe, you've never actually asked it before. Not really. Not when it was just you and the mirror and nobody else's expectations in the room. Think about it. For decades, you've known exactly who you were, or so you thought. You were defined by external roles, weren't you? I'm the manager at, I'm Sarah's husband, I'm the provider, I'm the guy who fixes everything, I'm the one who has it all figured out. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You've been living other people's definitions of you. Society told you who to be. Your family had expectations. Your employer gave you a title, and you wore it like armour. Your wife, your kids, your friends, they all had their versions of who you were supposed to be. And you never questioned it because you were too busy being it. You were too busy performing the role to ask if it actually fit. But now something's changed. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your marriage ended. Maybe the kids moved out. Maybe you retired and suddenly that business card identity doesn't exist anymore. And you're standing there, stripped of all of those external definitions, asking yourself, who am I when I'm not performing for everyone else? But here's what nobody tells you about transitions after 50. Job loss, divorce, retirement, empty nest. They strip away those labels. Yes, suddenly you're standing there without your business card identity, without your role as husband, without the daily structure that told you who you were supposed to be. This feels terrifying. I get it. You wake up and for the first time in decades, nobody's telling you who to be today. Nobody's expecting you to show up as the version of yourself they're comfortable with. But this is actually a gift. This is the opportunity most people never get. For the first time in decades, you get to choose. You get to meet the person you've always been underneath all those roles. You get to ask yourself what you actually want, not what everyone wants from you. Think about it. When was the last time you made a decision based purely on what felt right to you? Not what was expected, not what was responsible, not what would make other people happy, but what felt authentic to who you actually are. Most of us can't remember, because we've been so busy being who we thought we should be that we forgot who we actually are. But now you have this strange, terrifying, beautiful freedom. You can eat what you want for breakfast. You can listen to the music that moves you. You can pursue interests that light you up, even if nobody else understands them. You can finally stop performing and start being. If you're ready to stop living other people's versions of your life and start discovering who you actually are, my free Reinvention After 50 guide will walk you through this entire process step by step. The link is in the description below. It's completely free and it's designed specifically for men who are ready to meet themselves for the first time. So, how do you start answering who are you when you spent decades not asking the question? First, you need to get comfortable with not knowing. This isn't failure, this is discovery. You're not broken because you can't immediately answer who you are. You're just meeting yourself for the first time as a fully autonomous adult. Most of us went straight from our parents' expectations to our employers' expectations, to our family's expectations. We never had that period of figuring out who we were when nobody else was watching. Well, guess what? You're getting the chance now, at 50 plus, with wisdom, resources and life experience that your 20-year-old self never had. Your authentic self has been there all along, buried under decades of shoulds and expectations. But he's been leaving clues. What did you love as a kid before anyone told you what you should do? What activities made you lose track of time now? What values feel absolutely non-negotiable to you, even when it's inconvenient? What would you do if nobody was watching or judging? What conversations light you up? What problems do you find yourself naturally wanting to solve? Pay attention to what energizes you versus what drains you. Your body knows who you are even when your mind is confused. Here's the beautiful part. You don't have to figure it out all at once. You can experiment, try new things without commitment. Say no to things that don't feel authentic, even if you can't explain why. Start small. This isn't about dramatic life overhauls or burning everything down. This is about tiny acts of authenticity that add up over time. Maybe it's choosing different music for your commute. Maybe it's trying a hobby you've always been curious about. Maybe it's having conversations about topics that actually interest you instead of just making small talk. Maybe it's saying, I don't know, when someone asks what you want, instead of defaulting to what you think you should want. Now let me be clear about something. This isn't about becoming someone completely different. You're not abandoning responsibility. You're not having a midlife crisis. You're not going to suddenly quit your job and become a street musician. You're finally becoming who you actually are. You are aligning your life with your authentic self instead of society's expectations. And here's what I've discovered. When you start living authentically, you don't become worse at your genuine responsibilities. You become better at them because you're operating from a place of choice rather than obligation, from authenticity rather than performance. You show up more present for the people who matter. You make decisions from clarity rather than confusion. You have more energy because you're not constantly fighting against your own nature. The goal isn't to throw away everything you've built. The goal is to keep what serves the real you and let go of what you've been carrying for other people. Some of your roles might still fit. Some of your relationships might actually get stronger when you show up as your authentic self. Some of your responsibilities might feel lighter when they're chosen rather than imposed. But some things might need to change, and that's okay too. If you're starting to see the difference between who you've been performing as and who you actually are, hit that like button and subscribe. We're building a community of men who refuse to live other people's versions of their lives. And trust me, you're going to want to be a part of this conversation. Here's what I've discovered in my own journey. The question, who are you, isn't actually about finding some fixed identity that you'll carry forever. It's about giving yourself permission to be authentic in each moment. You're not trying to become someone. You're trying to stop pretending to be someone you're not. And here's the thing that might surprise you. When you stop performing for other people, when you stop trying to be who you think you should be, you don't become selfish or irresponsible. You become more generally caring, more present, more capable of real connection, because you're finally operating from a place of authenticity instead of obligation. The people who love the real you will stick around. The people who only loved your performance will drift away. And both those outcomes are exactly what should happen. You'll find that your energy increases when you're not constantly managing other people's expectations. Your stress decreases when you're not trying to be someone you're not. Your relationships improve when people are connecting with the real you instead of the version you think they want. For me, I discovered that the man I'd been hiding was someone who actually cared deeply about helping other men find their way. Not because it looked good on paper, not because it was expected, but it lit me up from the inside. I'd spent decades being who I thought I should be professionally, personally, in every way. And when all of that got stripped away, I found someone I actually liked underneath it all. You have that person inside you too. He's been waiting patiently for you to stop performing long enough to meet him. So I'll ask you again. Who are you? Not who you were, not who others think you should be, not who you've been performing as for decades. Who are you? The invitation is this. Start asking yourself this question daily. Give yourself permission to not have the answer yet, but give yourself the gift of exploring it. At 50 plus, you have something most people never get. The wisdom to know better and the freedom to choose differently. You've learned what doesn't work. You've seen through society's promises about what will make you happy. You've earned the right to live on your own terms. Don't waste it living someone else's life. And when you do, when you finally answer that question, who are you, with something that comes from your core instead of your resume, everything changes. You stop seeking approval and start seeking authenticity. You stop trying to fit in and start standing out as yourself. You stop living other people's dreams and start pursuing your own. This is a journey, not a destination. And I'd love to hear where you are in yours. What's one thing you've discovered about who you really are? What's one way you're going to be more authentic this week? Share it in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another man needs to hear to give himself permission to start his journey back to himself. Remember, the question isn't who should you be? The question is, who are you? And you're the only one who can answer it. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be courageously yourself. Cheers.
Empower over 50 now. Stand up tall and take your bow. Feel the rhythm, feel the power. This is your triumphant hour.